I can imagine many of you are familiar with the movie Cars, you know, like the Pixar movie. It's quite good, and I watched it recently, and I actually found it quite enjoyable, surprisingly. And I was so obsessed with it as a child to the point when, before the movie even came out, there was this little bumper for it in the Finding Nemo DVD my family had, and every single time I'd see it, I'd bug my parents to let me see Cars when it came out, and eventually when it came out, they took me to see it. But after my family got the DVD for Cars, I would go through the special features on all the DVDs we had because I just liked looking at the extras and how the movies were made and stuff like that, even as a kid. And I found the deleted scene called Lost, and it completely terrified me and gave me nightmares for weeks. The scene takes place at the point in the movie where Lightning and Mac get separated, and Lightning is trying to find Mac. He sees a truck that he thinks is Mac, and it turns out it isn't him, and Lightning gets told by this truck to basically go away, and he's left with nothing in the middle of nowhere, and he's trying to find the highway, and he sees the highway in the distance, and he starts driving towards it. But as he's heading towards it, some clouds start rolling in, blocking out the moonlight, leaving him essentially blind because
race cars don't need headlights because the track is always lit.
So because of this, he runs himself off the road, landing in the woods, and he turns around and proceeds to see this fucking thing. This is the thing that gave me nightmares for weeks. Just look at it. It's kind of freaky, and you wouldn't be expecting that if you were 7 years old. I wasn't expecting it, and apparently neither was Lightning McQueen, who begins to panic and drive away. But as he gets further into the woods, he sees more cars that look honestly worse. Like the one that has a bunch of tree roots growing out in the inside of it is honestly kind of gross if you imagine that the cars themselves are alive. He begins to piss his engine and then speed off, but he gets some barbed wire stuck to him and begins to drag a couple of the husks of the cars behind him, and he accidentally flips himself around, and then one lands right in front of him, so he thinks it's chasing him, and then he spins around and then lets the wire loose, driving away, and then the scene ends. Now, is this scary as an adult? Not really. I mean, it could be, depending on who you show it to, but in general, it's not really all that scary. As a child? No wonder this was cut, because if this was left into the movie, it would rank as one of the scariest moments in kids' films. In my opinion, it would be about as scary as the ending parts of The Brave Little Toaster, you know, the musical number in the junkyard where everyone's thinking about how badly they want to die. Yeah, that's real nice material for a kid's movie. And also the fucking clown. Fun fact, this movie made me hate clowns, and I am 100% not alone in that. This scene builds such an unsettling mood and atmosphere throughout, and as a horror short, it honestly works quite well. And the fact that it kicks the tension door down and jump scares you with actually unsettling images that make you think of corpses more than cars is actually really quite cool, at least as someone who appreciates horror a lot. But this makes me ask some weird questions about the Cars universe, because this isn't the only deleted scene like this that exists. Because there's a scene in Cars 2 that was deleted, where this mobster car is having a very nice chat with another car who happens to be stuck inside of a trash compactor, except it's not stuck, and he's there against his will. And after the very happy questions segment is over, he gets crushed to death. So, I guess apparently someone at Pixar thought the idea of interrogation was fun for kids, along with car corpses, and I'm honestly not sure why that is, and it's kind of confusing. And to be honest, I've looked around on the internet for this, and I have not seen neither high nor low about this in terms of discussion. The filmmakers haven't really mentioned it, other than the fact that it was cut at the beginning bumper part of the deleted scene, and the only reason why it's somewhat known is that it's quite scary for a kid's film, and it doesn't seem to be all that well known. And honestly, I really like this scene because it's such a jarring shift from the rest of the movie. Because if this scene was finished and put in the actual film, it would create such severe mood whiplash that I don't even know how it would properly flow, and it was probably better off left on the cutting room floor because of that. Also, the fact that it would have given kids nightmares and people like me nightmares, which I did have. And I guess all it really exists to be now is left on the cutting room floor for those of us who randomly remember it to rewatch. Thank you all very much. Have a great night.